Hello everyone, I'm getting everything ready for tonight's live, so I will start shortly. I do apologize if there's any sudden movements in the camera, but I'll jump on momentarily. See you soon. There we go. Sorry about that. I think we're good. All right. If you're hopping on, drop me a quick comment just to say hello so I know you're here. I'd love to know where you're watching from tonight as well, so you could be sure to include that. Always love learning where all of us are coming together from to watch a Facebook Live and craft together. So thank you guys so much. If you could just let me know when you're here, and we'll get going soon. Hi, Judy. We are U.S. neighbors. I'm over in the Chicago suburbs, so I'm one state over. And then we've got Linda from Hattiesburg. MS. Is that Mississippi, I believe? I almost said Massachusetts, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to sound like a fool. I think that's MA, though. And then we've got Julie from Marquette. I believe MI would be Michigan. I'm getting all of my, elementary school geography of the United States in, so I hope I'm getting everyone correctly. I do apologize if I make any mistakes, though. And then just a little bit of information before we get started, and I will be certain to recap this later on during our live. But right now, I wanted to let you guys know that ThermOWeb is running I don't want to call it a promotion, but almost a ThermOWeb Gives Back sort of promotion. The Gina K Design stamp and foil stamp set of the graphic sunflowers, along with the coordinating die set and the foil mate set. Right now, all proceeds from any orders with that will go towards the Global Empowerment Mission. So if you guys don't have those items in your stash and you've been looking to add some sunflowers to your crafting stash, it's a great cause, so be certain to check that out and to take advantage of the current Gives Back promotion that we've got going on right now. And hello, I believe that would be Julia. And then hello, Lynn from Nova Scotia. Oh my gosh, we got over the border. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. All right, everyone, I think I'm about ready to get started. So welcome. This is my second Facebook Live in the ThermOWeb Craft Room. I'm so excited to be here with you all tonight. Hello, Dawn. That's right. We've got some ThermOWeb friends in Illinois. So I'm so happy that I've got a neighbor over here. So yes, in the Chicago suburbs over here. But I'm so excited to be here with you guys tonight. As you know, we love our themed weeks at ThermOWeb, and today I will be continuing our vacation week fun, and I'm going to be recreating this stamp set. And oh my gosh, I have a little bit of a tape backing here. Oh my gosh, my bad. But we are going to be recreating this card that uses some of my favorite Laura Kelly designer line products with ThermOWeb, and we're going to be doing some live toner sheet action with you guys as well. So I'm really excited for that with you tonight. So we're going to be recreating this card. Now I won't be coloring. We're going to be doing a lot of ink blending, which is really fun with the toner card fronts or the toner sheets as well. So we're going to be doing some of that. And then also, if you guys haven't hopped on one of my Facebook Lives before, I always like to give a little bit of a notice that if you guys make a comment and I don't respond to it right away, I promise I'm not ignoring you. Sometimes with the way that my iPad catches comments, I don't see them all right away, or I'm in the middle of something else and can't immediately respond back. I like to take some breaks just to check messages and make sure everyone's questions are getting answered, or if you're just saying hello, that I can say hi back. But if by chance I do miss your question or comment, please don't take any offense if you want to go ahead and repeat it, and I will catch it, and I do apologize about that in advance. So we've got Tim from California. Oh, first time. That's wonderful. Can't wait. I'm so excited that you're excited. I'm excited you're here. So let's get into some crafting. So what I want to start with is ink blending some of these sheets. So what we're going to start with is this background. So this is the Sweet Swirls Toner Sheets by Laura Kelly. As you can see, I've got a bunch of fun little strips in here, which just means that this pack is very well loved. But I do already have trimmed down a A2 sized panel of the Sweet Swirls. Oh my gosh, swirls. So this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And what I would like to do with this is start with some ink blending. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to take my final copy off to the side. For my ink blending, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna use some distress inks. And let me go ahead and grab my ink holder. You always forget something during a Facebook Live, and I guess that's what I forgot today. So we're gonna go ahead, use some squeezed lemonade distress ink, and get to it. Now, if you guys are like me, you love ink blending. So I am always incorporating some form of ink blending into almost all of my projects. So that's why I really love these toner sheets, because you can really get in and get these inks blended. And also, if you guys haven't checked it out yet, I believe all of the Laura Kelly products that I will be using tonight are currently on sale on the ThermOWeb website. So be certain to check it out. We do offer free shipping on any orders $50 or more. So that's always great to take advantage of. I believe those are for individuals living in the US. If I'm incorrect, I do apologize. And then also, if you have not placed an order with us before, on the website, you should get a prompt for first-time customers to get a 10% discount. That is for first-time customers only. I did check, and this prompt did show up with me earlier today. I believe you have to enter in your email address to obtain the coupon code, and you can use that on your first order. So I'm going in with this squeezed lemonade, and I am just ink blending everything up. And I'm not going to do the whole panel because a lot of the center is going to be covered up. Yes, so these toner sheets, anytime you guys have one of these toner sheets that have a print on them and there's white areas, you can absolutely ink over them. I use the distress inks or any sort of dye ink because I feel like it works best for me. I don't know if other inks work as well, because you don't want something that's going to do any sort of conflicting with the toner, which is why I'm always a little hesitant to using like oxide inks, because I know that they have a little bit more of a pigment chalkier consistency by nature. But in all honesty, I haven't really tested those out yet, and I didn't want to waste a toner sheet potentially by doing so. Would you blend or foil first? Oh, okay, so I like to blend first, and the reason being is I have foiled first before, and sometimes the pressure from doing the blending after I've already foiled can flake some of the foil bits off. I'm not saying it's gonna take all the foil off, but you wanna get a nice transfer, and in my opinion, it's always best to do the foiling after. Now, what I do like to do, and I don't know if this is any sort of proven science, is I like to wait a couple minutes before I run this through my laminator with the foil, just to make sure that it's dry. I feel like I've had the best success with that. Don't know if it's true or not, but that's just sort of my own little tidbit. But I'm gonna give you guys a couple tips tonight with when I use toner sheets that have been passed down to me with how to use them the most effectively, and I've gotten some really great results from it. All right, so we've got our squeezed lemonade, so I'm done with that. All right, and next we're gonna move on to some dried marigold, which is a light orange color. And let's go ahead and get a new blending foam. I believe for my dried marigold, this is the first time I'm using the blending foam. All right, so I'm just gonna go in and blend. Let me see, do I have all the comments? Okay, we're all caught up, I believe. You are so welcome, Tim. Thank you for asking. If anybody has any questions while I'm crafting, be certain to ask me. I'm always happy to answer your questions as best as possible and timely. And I'm here to help. So we're gonna go in with some dried marigold. As you can see, it's oranging up those edges. I'm not doing a full dive yet into my oranges because I want a nice ombre effect. And I feel like this dried marigold is a really good stepping stone to go from that squeezed lemonade into my final color, which is gonna be carved pumpkin. So if you are familiar with the distressed color families, that carved pumpkin is probably about the truest orange that's available. And we're going to be doing some flamingo pink foil onto these swirls. So I like when it comes to any sort of tropical card to incorporate what I call tropical sunset colors, that being yellows, oranges, and pinks. And if you can always incorporate a little bit of purple, that's great. We're not going to be doing any sort of purple tonight, but that's what works best for me. All right, so we're going in. Just like that. Okay, so we've got our dried marigold. I think I'm done with this as well. So I just want to make certain that as I'm going through and I'm done with my colors that I put them off to the side so I'm not going ahead and using them again. So let's go in with my final color in this blend, which is carved pumpkin. And I do know that carved pumpkin plays a role later on in my crafting, so I won't be entirely done with this. I agree, Tim. I think oranges are great, especially for any sort of beachy card. We're actually going to be using some orange foil too tonight. So I'm going in and just distressing this edge just to get a nice orange color going. And it's really getting that good yellow to orange ombre. I really love how that dried marigold worked as a good bridge between the two. And I know we haven't gotten into any of the fun foiling yet, and I promise we're going to get there, but we got to put down all the groundwork to get our card together. So, all right. And I do want to apologize in advance if you are hearing any sort of kind of like low grumbling. I've noticed that my laminator, specifically over the last week or so, has just, when it's on for longer periods of time, can make some sort of like a little grumble noise that I believe is normal. But it's of course not the greatest for a Facebook Live, but I will survive. But I do apologize if that provides any sort of noise feedback. I'm going in, this is the same blending foam I used for that dried marigold, just to kind of blend it into that carved pumpkin and get a really nice blend. All right. Oh, good. Julia, I have to be honest, this week I almost thought about buying an extra laminator just to have on background or in the background, because I was like, I don't know if this one's going to conk out, and I didn't want to panic with it being my Facebook Live. So I was like, should I just grab an extra one? I'm like, no, I'm going to hold it out. But I will tell you, if I ever do need to buy a new one, I'm definitely going to get it with some sort of an insurance plan on it, just to be on the safe side so it's protected for in the future. All right. Great. I'm so glad you guys can't hear it. All right, so we're done with our Sweet Swirls panel. So I'm gonna do a quick little cleanup, and then we're gonna move on to a little bit more ink blending. Sometimes it just needs a tap to get quiet. Isn't that funny? It's so true too. Sometimes I call it a tap, and it's a little bit louder than a tap. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna wipe down just a little bit. All right. And then I'm gonna I've been tapping my ink off on this acrylic block just because I don't like to do it a lot of the times directly onto my craft mat. All right, so we've got that. So what I have next is I have the Wacky Waves toner sheet. And the reason that I chose this is quite literal. This is going to be the water portion of my card. I've went ahead and I have die cut it, which an arch tag die, which is by Pink and Main. And it's just gonna make for like a nice sort of semi-scene. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna blend to about a little more than halfway with some peacock feathers. All right. All right, so we're gonna go ahead, and I've got my peacock feathers. I love the peacock feathers color. We're just gonna go ahead and blend over it. I just love this sort of, it's not turquoise, it's really more along the lines of like a teal, I would say, but I just think it makes for such pretty water blends. And I'm just gonna do entirely this color because I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to foil this with some blue for the waves. And it's going to be like a blue on blue sort of tone on tone, which I love. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and set that off to the side. All right. And then the last item that I'm going to be ink blending tonight, let me go ahead and I will get this foam piece all taken care of. If you noticed on my original card, I had some palm trees, and those are actually foiled elements as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe that off. So what I have is I have the sprinkled stripes, and I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna show you my die cuts first, but I've got the sprinkled stripes toner sheets, which let me grab them to show you. They're much larger and you have a lot more stripes with them. But you know with palm trees, how they kind of have lines that mark going up them, like the lines would go laterally across the trunk. I was like, you know what? These have lines and this would work really cool for those lines on the trunks. And I figured why not give it a shot? And I really like how it turned out. So what I do is I'm just going to ink blend these stumps entirely brown. So I have some vintage photo distress ink. This is one of my it's an older ink. I actually bought this not that long ago, but I guess the retailer that I bought it from had like an older stock because the label is a little different than my other inks. But what we're gonna go ahead and do is pick up some of the ink from the vintage photo, tap it off, and this is gonna be really quick. So we're just gonna kind of go down. I'm trying to be gentle because if I have any sort of quick movements that don't go in the same direction, I could possibly, as I would call, disturb the paper and wrinkle it. And you don't want to wrinkle it. So, okay, so this one is all taken care of. Also, as you've noticed, I don't have any of the tree itself ink blended because I'm gonna be using some Screamin green neon flock on top of that. So we'll get to that shortly. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead with that vintage photo and ink blend this up. All right, cool. Yeah, I think that looks good. All right, I'm gonna set this off to the side as well. While we're on the subject of ink blending, I'm gonna go ahead and work on the tops of my trees as well. So let me clean this up. Die cutting, dang, never thought of that either. Love this. You can die cut your toner sheets into whatever you want. I do typically recommend, and I did not do this because it just works better for me doing a live with y'all. It's nice to die cut after you foil, especially if you have a stitched edge, because sometimes that foil won't get into the indentation of the stitching. So I usually recommend die cutting after foiling, but ink blending before foiling, if that makes sense to y'all. So just bear with me, you know. Oh, you know what? I don't know why I cleaned, because I have another piece to ink blend with this color. Oh my gosh, here I am not paying attention. All right, so I'm gonna have this little sandbank, and I'm just gonna really quickly take this vintage photo and do it along the bottom, just to kind of blend it up. All right. If you don't have a stitched edge with your dies, you can probably get away from die cutting first and then foiling, which is what I'm kind of getting away with tonight. But if it's got that stitched edge, I do recommend doing the die cutting last. All right, so we're gonna move that piece off to the side. Actually, we're gonna put it back over here. All right, and then I've got my little palm trees. So now I can clean up this vintage photo. I do a lot of ink blending and distressing during my projects, so I know that we're spending a good chunk of time on that first, but I really like creating those colors and shadows, so it's almost like a custom color just for me, and for you guys tonight too. All right, so what we're gonna go ahead and do last is I do have the top of two palm trees. Now, like I said, this is the Screamin Green Electropop Neon Flock by Rina K Designs. And I'm going to just lightly distress the bottom of these palm leaves a darker green. And I am going to do that by blocking off some of the portions and using just this piece of paper as a mask of sorts. Let's go ahead. All right. So you can ink blend right onto your flock as well. Doesn't hurt it. It darkens it up. You can kind of customize the color of your flock. Really cool too, we do have that white latte flock, which is our white flock. And if you use that, you can ink blend on top of it. And you can kind of make your flock any color you want. That's a little hack. I mean, that would be kind of the best way to go, you know. But yes, you can tint your flock. You're going to see that I'm going to have a little bit of ink shading onto these leaves that make it a little darker. But I love ink blending darker colors on top of lighter colors within the same color family. Oh yes, you can ink blend on it, you can stamp, you can emboss it. If you guys have any of the glitter glitz gels, those also can do really well on top of flock as well. I've had a lot of fun with that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and ink blend this as well. I think the flock is one of the most versatile products. You know, here's the truth. All of the ThermOWeb products are multi-use when it comes to paper crafting specifically, because that's what I work with. And because you can use the foil, you can get multiple uses out of a sheet of foil. You can, I mean, at least 2 or more cards, depending on what you're doing. Does it make the flock less fluffy? I know what you mean. You know what? I have noticed that sometimes when you die cut, there is a little bit less fluffiness, but you still get that velvety feel, which is really, to me, the texture is what I go for, you know? All right. Just kind of going in, tinting the edges. Let's go ahead and do that one too. Trying to block it and mask it so I don't, my laminator is making its surging noise again. All right, and then we're just gonna do a little bit on top. Perfect. And then, all right, I'm gonna clean up my Mowed Lawn ink, set that off to the side. All right, fix this up real quick. And then do a real quick little bout of cleaning. All right. Just to make sure that I'm not getting stuff all over my workstation. Maybe it's just hungry for you to feed it a project. Yes, it's like I'm sitting here, I'm revving, you know, like use me for some crafting. I'm also taking my flock and I'm just going to fussy cut off the little part of the trunk, because I'm not really going to be using that. I'm only going to be using the top. Perfect. Groaning. We're going to use that term now, Tim. It's groaning. It's not grinding or surging. It's groaning. All right. Perfect. And then I have one last piece to do some ink blending with. And this is just a piece of white blending cardstock. And I'm just going to blend up my sky. So I'm going to use some mustard seed distress ink. All right. And I'm just going to kind of guesstimate where my sky is going to go. All right, so we're going to do some mustard seed, just like that. And then we're going to go in with some carved pumpkin. All right. And then we're going to go back in with a little bit more mustard seed just to kind of fill that gap and make sure it's a nice seamless transition. All right, now that can go away. And then, all right. And then the last color in the blend is going to be picked raspberry. So we're going to get a little bit of that pink in too. All right. And I'm just going to go in, do that on top, blend it into that carved pumpkin to get a good blend. All right, now I'm gonna go in with that carved pumpkin blender just to kind of blend this out. And I think we're good. All right, so I've got all of my pieces ready to go. So let me do some cleaning and then we're gonna get into the fun part, which is foiling. So I'm gonna give you guys some tips on how to make your toner sheets effective so you're getting the best transfer you possibly can. So let me go ahead and clean this up. Perfect. All right, clean that off. Perfect. Put my ink blending tool away. All right, let's get into some foiling. So what we're gonna start with first is our Sweet Swirls background. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is, I always recommend, number one, use a microfiber cloth to wipe off your toner sheet. And then I'm also going to use it to wipe off my foil as well. All right. So we got that. And then we're gonna be using the Flamingo pink, and I am gonna need a full sheet for this. And what I like to do, because I know there's that little bit of adhesive, is I like to roll it over just so it doesn't conflict with anything that's coming out. And then I'm gonna use a whole sheet. And I'm not gonna cut this one because I'm gonna use most of it. So I'm also going to take my microfiber cloth and I am going to wipe off the back, trying to not get my fingertips on it to transfer any sort of oil. Now, I can't really show you this on camera because it's too fine of a detail, but the next tip is I want you to look at your toner sheet, and there are lines that your foil sheet with this is the Flamingo pink foil, but they all should have this. I should wipe this off just a little better than I did. There are some lines that move with your foil, and you want to make sure that when you run this through your laminator, you're running it through where the lines are gonna be going in parallel to your opening of your laminator. Almost like the lines are directly feeding into it. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put my sheet like that. Then I'm gonna go ahead and grab my parchment paper. So I've got my parchment paper ready to go, and I use a little piece of cardstock just to act as a little bit of a weight, or to give the paper a little bit of weight. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this into place. Just like that. And then I'm gonna bring my laminator over so you guys can see me foil this. 1 second so I make sure I don't make a lot of crashing noise. There we go. All right. So I've got my laminator, and we're gonna go ahead and run this through. It's gonna be a little slow, of course, but I have my laminator. I have a Royal Sovereign laminator. It's got a hot-cold setting. I always use the hot setting. This has been warming up. Geez, we've been crafting for 25 minutes. I turned this on a half hour before we started. So this has been on for almost an hour. You definitely want to let it warm up. I recommend at least a good 15, if not 30 minutes, if you've got the time to get the most effective transfer. All right. We're getting there. You might hear the groaning a little bit more now, but that's okay. All right, so I'm just waiting for this to fully come out. Also, another important thing is to make sure that whatever you're using as a carrier sheet, like this parchment paper, try not to use anything wrinkled, because those wrinkles will affect it to get that good transfer. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. Now you guys are gonna see that reveal magic. Let's see. All right. And this, before I show you everything, I'm gonna save this and set it off to the side because I can use this later either onto a full toner sheet or I can use it as a shaker card. So this will get used later. But I'll show you guys. Let me see if I can get it to catch the light. I've got that Flamingo pink. I love the reveal peel. It is the best. So we've got that really pretty sweet swirl with that Flamingo pink. I adore it. Oh, I love it so much. Okay, I'm excited to do that. That may have even turned out a little better than my first one that I did with for the sample. So we got that. And then next what we're gonna move on to is we're gonna use that Denim Blue Jeans foil sheet by Laura Kelly. We're gonna use that with the waves. So let me go ahead. I actually have a piece that I used the other day when I was making my sample. We're gonna use that. All right, so I'm gonna fold that over, pull this out, just like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and fix this. I'll fix the Flamingo pink one too so I don't forget about it. All right, there we go. Put that in the back. And then what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this down. I'll do a little more on camera, I apologize. And then I'm gonna wipe off my toner sheet as well. Now, I'm not gonna be using this full tag. I'm only gonna be using about 5 toner stripes up. So, okay, so I'm just trying to figure this out. The best way to do this is going to be to put it down like this. And then I'm also going to use a rotary trimmer to cut it really quick. Like that. And then I'll save that foil for later. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put this into my transfer sheet. All right. We're gonna go ahead and do it just like that. And I'm gonna grab my laminator once again and run this through. All right. All right. Now we wait, you know, that's okay. But I really like this Wacky Waves toner sheet. I forgot it was in my stash. So when I was pulling through to figure out how I wanted to make this project, I was like, this is gonna work so perfectly with water. I knew I had to use it. It just lent itself so perfectly. So I'm excited to be crafting with that. And I'm actually gonna be fussy cutting this just a wee bit with you guys too. I'll go a little bit more into that later and why I'm fussy cutting. And it goes into how utilized this is for this project with the way that the pattern is. So, all right. I actually had a friend over the other night because she wanted to foil some stuff and she doesn't have a laminator or any of the transfer gels. So we played around in my stash and we made some fun stuff. She used a really fun layered stencil with the Unity Gold Glitter Deco foil and she got a really pretty floral effect. So I had some fun with that. All right, so let's see. So we're gonna go ahead and, oh, this is gonna be a good one. All right. Show you guys what I got. You see that blue, that denim blue jeans? Oh, it's pretty. I love it. Oh, I love this. And I also want to show you guys too, because you can see on this negative, let me put this negative on this piece of paper. If you can see the line that's kind of like the stitched edging, that's what I was talking about with the die cut and how it doesn't fully transfer. So that's all foil that's still on the sheet that didn't get moved over to this die cut. It's not really going to affect this project, but just keep that in mind for in the future. Sorry, so we're going to move that off to the side. Play with that shortly, and then we're gonna do our last foiling piece, which is gonna be the sprinkled striped palm trees. All right. Use some of the carrot orange. This is the carrot orange foil transfer sheets, also part of the Laura Kelly line, also part of the collection that's on sale. So if you guys don't have these colors, be sure to grab them. I mean, I'm always happy to enable when it's on sale, you know? All right, so this one's a little bit more tricky just because I'm only foiling carrot. I'm only caring about part of it and it's an interesting shape. So, all right, so we're gonna go ahead, wipe that off, wipe the bottom of the toner sheet off. So we'll go ahead and lay it like that. I'm also going to wipe this part of the palm tree off and lay it like that. And then, all right, what am I gonna cut off? I think what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna use all of that and cut it off right here. Saving this bit for later. And then get this nice and placed into, you know, I'm probably going to just kind of piece this together. This one's a little different just because I'm only doing the pieces. Maybe this one would have been better if I would have done it die cut second. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. Bear with me while I play with this just a little bit. Sometimes I forget how I did it in the first place. And then what we're gonna go ahead and do is lay this over like that. As long as it's covering up those trunks, I do not care. I'm gonna grab my laminator once again, and we're gonna foil the last piece of the project. I almost said the puzzle, but the project. All right. Laura's line, okay, so what I love about the Laura Kelly designer line is these colors are bold. Like, they're all bold, and there's just a sense of a whimsicalness to them, and I really love them. And they're simple, you know, they're just like, if you're looking for sort of primary colors, really a good line to play with. And they lend themselves to a lot of fun, whimsical designs. And they're just so approachable, so I enjoy that with them, and I love these colors. So definitely check them out if you haven't yet. You get, I believe it's 12 sheets to a pack. Yep, it says 12 sheets, 12 6x6 sheets per pack, and I want to say they're on sale for, no, I don't remember the price now that I'm thinking about it. I remember the price of the toner sheets being $2.79, but I don't remember the price of the foils, but it's a good price. All right, so we're almost done with this, and then I think I can give my little buddy a break. All right, you can go to bed now, sir. Watch, I'm gonna take this off and it didn't transfer, and we're gonna be like, well, that's that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. All right, I'm gonna show y'all this subtle little accent. I'm gonna try to catch the light, but I've got these little orange stripes on these palm trees from the Sprinkled Stripes toner sheet, and they really work well. And you can't really tell that it's orange because when it's layered against that brown, oh, the foils are not currently on sale. Well, I apologize, but the toner sheets are. My bad, I apologize for that, I misspoke. But I love how these oranges play off of these browns. Thank you, Robin. I think so too. I think they turned out really cool. So let's go ahead and we're gonna start putting everything together. I've got a little bit of cutting to do, and then we can get into the fun assembly part. So I'm gonna grab my fussy cutting scissors, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna cut this wave about yay high. I'm doing about 5 full toner stripes that are of that denim blue jeans. And then I'm gonna do one more blue, and then I'm just kind of fussy cutting around it. I was going to use a die, but you know what? I can just kind of fussy cut these waves, and I'm gonna get that good wavy effect without a die cut, you know? I forget that sometimes you can be just as effective cutting by hand rather than using a die. All right, you know what? Fixing those up a little bit. All right, just like that. So I'm gonna save that off to the side. And then what I'm gonna do is I am going to glue this directly onto my panel. And yeah, that looks about good. I want to make sure that I did about the right height. Yeah, it's about identical. All right, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my iCraft Ultra Bond. As you all know from my last live, this is my very well-loved bottle. It's still going strong. All right. That's what I was going for. I was going for those fun sunset colors, you know? So, all right, so we're gonna go ahead, kind of move this around into place. I like to put it on that it's not perfectly into position so that I can kind of smooth it over and get it put in. So that works really well. And then I'm gonna put some glue on the back of this. Oh, I'd love to be here too. I would love to do like a tropical vacation at the moment. All right, so we're gonna kind of put that into place, kind of smooth it around, and try to get it about as centered as I can. Let's see. All right, and then I'm gonna take, I have this gigantic acrylic block. I like to just kind of lay it on top for a couple seconds. Oh, Puerto Vallarta sounds lovely right now. The tropics, yes. I was even thinking Hawaii sounded nice. I've never been, but this makes me wanna go. All right, and you know what? Just like that. Perfect. All right. Next, what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and apply the little sand mound. And that's gonna be towards the bottom. And you're gonna see a little bit of peeping through over here. That's totally fine. So I'm just gonna go ahead, glue this down. Just like that. Just a fun little sand mound. All right. Next, we can work on the trees for the palm trees. So I'm gonna go ahead and take those Screamin' Green flock pieces. Ooh, looks like a sandbar, yes. I think it lends itself so perfectly for waves. I mean, it's called Wacky Waves. Why not use it for waves? Why not want to go on a crafty vacation, you know? I want to go on vacation. All right. Oop, I don't want to get the Ultra Bond glue on there, even though it does dry clear. You know what? This would be a really good reason to use some tweezers. I guess we learn from our mistakes. So I'm just going to kind of push this into place right now. All right. Just like so, like that. All right, we've got one palm tree. And we're gonna learn from our mistakes and grab some tweezers. You know, it's gonna be from here. All right. Just like that. Oh, Robin, I'm so jealous. Hello, Gina. Thanks for stopping by tonight. I'm using some of your cardstock tonight because I love my Gina K cardstock, and I love that a lot of the Gina K cardstocks, a good selection of them, also have matching Deco foil as well. I love the fancy foils. I was actually just talking to Julia about the Gina K fancy foils earlier today. And these are the Electropop Screamin' Green Flock, so it works really well with a little bit of blending on it. All right, so what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and glue this down. And I actually forgot to tell you guys I did use one more flock. And what's a palm tree without coconuts? So I did use some of the Tuscan Gold flock for some coconuts. And I'm gonna go ahead and adhere those. Oh, you guys I'm so jealous. Palm trees. I know I'm on vacation when I see palm trees. So as you guys can see, I've got these little coconuts that come with these palm tree dies. This is from the Stamp Anything Palm Tree Builder die set, not stamp set. And I just think that these work so well. Oh, and yes, do not be scared by the word neon at all, because clearly you can go ahead and use your inks to color them up, but they're also not intimidating. I love the neon products, especially the flocks. Alrighty. Go ahead. All right, we're gonna do a little bit more glue. This one does not want to leave my finger. All right, so we got that little coconut all situated. And now we're gonna do the other tree. Get that all situated. Ooh, Robin, I hope you grabbed some good stuff. It's all good stuff, but I'm always excited to hear when people want to buy some crafty stuff. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to layer this on top so it's a little bit in front of the other palm tree just to create a little bit of a scene. All righty. I'm going to go ahead and press this down. You know what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to slightly move this over. Just like that. Perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and glue some more coconuts down. Do some right there and right there. All right. Now, if you guys need a full list of what's being used tonight, I do have a blog post with all of the products that I'm being used in tonight's live, along with links, so be sure to check that out. I think the foil on the trunks are pretty too. I just love that little bit of like an extra sort of oomph with it, you know, which foil always does. I always say that foil is the one thing with, or one of the things with crafting that when you send a card to someone, they look at it and be like, how did you do this? You made this by hand, and it makes you feel special because someone thinks you did something really cool because you did, and you get the recognition for it. All right, so we've got our little Tuscan gold coconuts all situated. Now we can work on getting the rest situated as well. I actually have a little coconut that I put down on the ground too because it fell. In my mind, I'm like, ooh, we need a coconut on the ground. All right, and then for my image, I've got this really cute girl. She is from the Kindred stamp set that's called Soak Up the Sun. I've colored her up with some Copic markers in advance. We're gonna go ahead and use some iCraft 3D foam in white, the 1/16th inch. And I'm gonna put some behind her just to get a little bit of depth. If we were on Survivor, we'd snatch up these coconuts. Yes, we would. The foil is like the finishing your outfit with jewelry. Yes. Yes, I agree entirely. All right. Just do a little bit on the back. And then set that off to the side. I'll get to it in a second. Go ahead and put her into place. And I'm gonna have her just kind of strolling on her little sandbar, just like that. And I am gonna add a little detail at the very end. But I want to go ahead, so I've also got a sentiment, also from another Kindred stamp set. This is from the Hello Summer set, and it says sunny birthday wishes, because you know we all can't have enough birthday cards in our stash. Oh, Gina started you on the foil tray with the gnomes. That's a good one to start with. And thank you so much, Julia. I love my Copic markers, and I always love an excuse to reach for them. So a lot of the times my projects are character based because I enjoy my coloring. We're gonna go ahead with this sentiment strip that says sunny birthday wishes. And I just gotta put a little bit of foam tape on. All right, you know, I think I kind of stretched it a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead just like that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put this into place, but I wanna do it a little closer to me so I can make sure it's all lined up. I did heat emboss this on some Gina K cardstock as well. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do it a little higher up before I set it into place. I believe this is the Passionate Pink cardstock that I had heat embossed onto. Alrighty. Just like that. Make sure it's nice and level. All right, one last little thing before we are all finished up. Oh, thank you so much, Gina. And let me see, Tim says, right. And I practice, I'm not that good. It's a lot of practice, you know, but you got to start somewhere and you got to just keep learning. This is, I don't even want to think about how many hours of practice I've had with coloring, but I enjoy it. I really, really do. And then Robin says, always need birthday cards. Yes, you do. Absolutely. And then, hello, Heidi. Thank you so, so much. Thanks for stopping by, friend. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of shading to my card also with Copic markers. And I know I don't usually do coloring, but I can't do this beforehand. You've got to do it after your items are in place. So I'm just taking a little bit of my warm gray markers. This is W4. And I'm just going to kind of create some shadows just to kind of help. It really does help build a scene by adding shadows because it makes it look realistic. Because, you know, they always look realistic. That's me being sarcastic. All right, and we're going to do a little bit under. Just like that. All right. All right, next color is going to be W2. And I'm just going to kind of bring those out. I wouldn't subject you guys to my coloring tonight unless it was quick, and I promise you, compared to what I usually do, this is quick. Just like that. All right. And then lastly, we're going to do some W0, which is going to really nicely just kind of fade it out. She is smart. She got sneakers on. She's not even wearing flip-flops. I'm like, she's like, I don't want to get no sand in my shoes. I don't want to walk on sand. She is smart for that. All right. So we've got our little bit of shadows going. And y'all, we're done with this card. Oh my gosh. And then also, thank you so much, Ingrid. I'm glad that you think it's pretty. And then, thank you, Heidi and Robin. So I'm going to bring this in a little bit closer so you guys can see all the fun foilness going on. I'm going to try to catch it all with the light. There we go. All right, catching it all. Super pretty. So thank you guys so, so much. I had so much fun making this birthday card with y'all tonight. And just to go over a little bit of the products that I used. So this is the Sweet Swirls Toner Sheet by Laura Kelly. So that's the background. I used the Wacky Waves Toner Sheet. This is with the Denim Blue Jeans foil. I use the Sprinkled Stripes toner sheets. This is with the Carrot Orange foil. The background, I forgot to say, is with the Flamingo Pink foil. And then for flocks, I did use a little bit of flock as well. I use the Rina K Designs Screamin Green Electropop Neon Flock for the palm tree tops, which I did ink blend just to kind of blend them out a little bit. And then I put a couple coconuts using the Tuscan Gold as well. So I had a lot of fun making with those. For the background piece, I used an arch tag die from Pink and Main. This stamp is from Kindred Stamps, a part of the Soak Up the Sunset, and the sentiment is from their Hello Summer scent. It just works perfectly for this little card. Finally, my dies for all the palm trees do come from Stamp Anything as well with the Palm Tree Builder set. So thank you so, so much. Oh, thank you guys so much. I'm loving all the comments. You guys are so sweet. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Tim. Tim, thank you for being here tonight for the first live with me. I really enjoyed talking with you. I enjoyed talking with all of you, but I love all the conversations and the sharing of tips. And I love when you guys get excited because it makes me more excited. So thank you. And then thank you, Tracy, for being here. And thank you, Gina. Oh my gosh. And Dawn, of course. Ingrid, thank you again. Linda, my last order, I got some of the flock and it's great. ThermOWeb flocks, the Deco foil flocks are so good. I'm so glad that you love them. I have so much fun with them. I love my flock stash. So thank you for sharing your craft. Great job. Thank you so much, Jay. You have a wonderful night too. And then hello, Jessica. Hey, I'm so glad you were able to stop in. So thank you guys all for being here tonight. I really appreciate you being here for my second Facebook Live. Great news, the third one is already on the book, so I'm going to be back next month. I've got another fun project coming up. Don't want to spoil the theme yet, but my brain is already turning with some ideas, so I'm really excited for that, and I hope you guys love this. So thank you all so much for being here. When are you on next? I know it's April. I don't remember the exact date, though. I want to say it's the week after Easter. I think it's April 20th is the next one. Now, I could be wrong. I think it's Wednesday after Easter. Easter's the 17th. That would make it the 20th. And we're going to try to keep it at the same time at 7 p.m. So I will be back again. We're going to have some fun. Next one is going to be a little springy, I think. I don't think that gives away what the theme is, though. So super excited for that. So thank you guys all for being here. I'll catch you later. If you've got any comments, you can always tag me in the craft room. Just pop a comment on, tag me in it. You can tag me in this live replay as well. That's an onomatopoeia, I believe is what it's called. Oxymoron is the word I'm looking for. I apologize for that. But thank you guys again. I'm going to go ahead and get this closed out. Thanks again for being here tonight. Don't forget that we have the special Gina K Design stamp and foil stamp set of the graphic sunflowers, along with the die set and the foil mates to go. Any proceeds are going to be donated to the Global Empowerment Mission, part of the Help Ukraine drive for it. So thank you guys again for being here. Grab any of those sunflower sets if you have not yet, and then also throw in a couple of your favorite toner sheets with it too, and can't wait to see what you guys do next. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and I will catch you on the next live.